Well, we are finally at the halfway point of the season. If the quality looks a little bit lower, it is. I recorded at 6,000 bit rate instead of my usual 30,000 bit rate, so oops. But same frame rate, so yay, question mark. Anyway, halfway point of the season, and well, that's all I have to say. We're in Canada this time. I believe the next race is the Red Bull Ring, so this is one of the tracks where I'm definitely going to have to make a mental note of how this up is actually built for this, and try and do my best to transfer that over to the Red Bull Ring, because, oh boy, that's going to be a heck of a challenge. But my goal for this race is actually to, survive and not DNF in the race for the third time in a row? Second time in a row. Third time in a row if I did DNF this race. I would hope not. We'll see. The joke here is that I'm narrating this after I've done everything, so I know, but you don't. Anyway, we are looking to hopefully get to Q2 once again for whatever time it is. I really need to actually keep track of how many times we make it to Q2 and Q3 for the 2026 season, but with how not good I had the last lap, we go the provisional P6, so we very much make our way into Q2 for this one, with a chance, maybe, hopefully, especially with that lap, to make it into Q3. I had to run 2 laps last time to actually get the pace that I wanted, so I figured, I'll go out a little bit later, and or a little bit earlier than the end of the session, and try and do a double lap for this time. So 2 push laps effectively, especially since the ERS does not run out as quickly as you think it does, at least not as quickly as you would think. And with the laps so far for now, it's not looking too great, but we'll see where we stand in terms of ourselves versus, oh god, it's Carlos Sainz again. Once we cross the sector, we lift off a little bit there. That's going to cost us a few hundredths of a second. But it is our first lap. We are tracking 1/10 faster through the second sector than Carlos Sainz. And of course, everyone else is just now starting to finish up or start their out laps and make their way around to start their final lap. So we'll see how things fare out for us as we just completely bang off the rev limiter, 344 kilometers an hour at the end of the straightaway. I'm feeling confident about that for the most part, so we'll see as we go only P12, and that's where we will qualify for Q2.
It is the second largest French-speaking city in the world and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. Welcome to Montreal. It's a 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 190 miles per hour. It's basically a series of chicanes and hairpins. We do have DRS zones, officially 14 turns, tight corners, and a real challenge for the drivers. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Piastri, George Russell and Hülkenberg, Norris, Ocon, Gasly and Isaac Hadjar, Colapinto, Frostbite, Yuki Tsunoda, Bortoletto, Alonso, Albon, Andrea Kimi, Antonelli and Ollie Behrman. Stroll and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
And we go racing in Canada. Hadjar did qualify ahead of us, but only for P10, but he does not get a good start. Neither does a good majority of the field, as we're non-committal and trying to get to the left-hand side of Gasly as well as Ocon, but we will split them 3 wide. And as a result of that, they will get shuffled out. So we make our way up into, at least for now, P8, as Ocon still on our right-hand side, just barely. And it's a shaky start, but all things considered, we do survive, so we will try and run away as very quickly as possible. But a very uneventful start, all things considered, for the rest of the lap, because well, it's Canada. It's a lot of straight line speed. So a few laps later, we have caught our way up to Lando Norris, shockingly enough. If we're faster than Lando here in Canada, we're probably going to be faster than Lando in race conditions at the Red Bull Ring, but we still have a long, long ways to go here. It's only lap forward of 70 as we'll tow the DRS from Hulkenberg and make our way up now to P6. Could a top 5 finish be on the cards? It sure seems like it. So we move to lap 7 now to 8 because we're going to make our way just by Oscar Piastri. A little bit of a send, admittedly, but we'll just ignore that. It was a clean pass. And shockingly, we've caught up to Max Verstappen as well. We'll go up to the left-hand side. We are not really going to fully commit, but we're going to cause Verstappen to cut the chicane. We also cut the chicane in our own right as well. So I decided to redress the position, give it back to him, and move on and wait for the next DRS zone, which is hilariously back in the same spot this time, as Verstappen didn't have DRS that time. We did. This time we'll clear him, and we'll still cut the lighter half of the chicane, but we'll ignore that part. It's fine. As we move on to now lap 13, where Verstappen has DRS this time. He's going to go onto a right-hand side. I'm not even going to fight it. I'm not even trying to fight it, but he just happens to be alongside, and, well, we're going to be cutting that section a lot, aren't we? But I'm sure it's fine. Anyway, moving forward to lap 14, little bit of a squabble there, at least between myself and the car, trying to actually get it to go where I want it to go, but, well, not the most ideal thing, but all things considered, we do survive, and we're not going to have DRS this time. Verstappen will, and it's going to be a terrifyingly easy pass for him, all things considered, so I'm not really going to fight him this time through, as he will definitely get by me. I'm going to brake just a little bit earlier than he does, and just decide to follow him through. Despite the clouds looming here, it does not seem like it's going to be too dangerous of conditions, all things considered, as we just get loose on corner exit all of a sudden. And that sets us in the sights of Piastri, who, guess what? Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Oh, shockingly doesn't pass us, actually. I thought he did at some point. So we do defend a little bit aggressively, but I blame the strategy, as we will go ahead and go into pit road. I said a strategy. I blame the objective for that whole defensive thing, because if it wasn't so contrived, I wouldn't have had to do it, but apparently it matters so much. But anyway, we switch from the medium tires to the hard tires, as per usual with these races. And we're going to go ahead and make our way back on track. Antonelli, interestingly, on the same strategy as us, I believe, as Piastri is about to lurk around the left-hand side. We just get ahead of him with about a second to spare, actually 2 seconds to spare, on pit exit. And we have caught up to Isaac Hadjar, who's on the opposite strategy of us, and him going straight on really threw me off that time. So we unfortunately get stuck in the clutches of Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, surrounded by the McLarens, but we are battling the McLarens regardless for P5. There is a chance, shockingly enough, that we actually finish with a top 5 here in F1 for the first time in our career. We had a couple 7th place finishes. That's great. That's awesome, genuinely, but a top 5 would be great. But Piastri, or rather Norris this time, is going to have something to say about that. We very easily give up the position, as Norris does not go through all the way, as not with enough momentum as I thought he would, but we do avoid hitting the back bumper, luckily. I'm being very careful here this time, just waiting for the DRS zone. And this time through, we're going to go ahead and deploy the battery, as well as open up the DRS and very swiftly make our way by Lando Norris. Oh wait, no, I'm in fuel saving mode for this part. Never mind. I should have known from the liftoff and the hairpin, unless I was just waiting for this section here. We'll see. Nope, just waiting. Just biding my time. Kind of wish in hindsight I did pass him, but there's really no reason to at the moment, so we do stick behind him for the course of this lap. This time through, we're going to go ahead and pass him into turn number 1, being the driver to set the fastest sector 3 out of all the drivers on the track. We get by Norris on the outside of turn number 1, 3 seconds out of Piastri, and a lot of room to spare, but Norris is going to fight back on turn 1 himself, after we managed to defend, but we'll stick to the right-hand side of Norris. We do avoid making contact. Norris will try to do the same thing we did, and he does, only because we're a little bit loose. We deploy the battery. We just try and keep the nose, but Norris shuts the door. Great defensive driving from Lando there. A lot of fun battles here. As we're going to catch up to Norris here, we're just going to go full send into the chicane. We have the preferred lane, and this time through, we're going to go back into P5. But shockingly, Norris was right on our gearbox. He was a lot closer than I thought he would be, so I have to deploy a little bit more battery just to try and stay ahead. Again, despite the fact that it is overcast, it does end up clearing up over the next 5 or so laps. And we will go ahead and box for our second stop of the race. And luckily, we're getting that stupid objective off our back as well in the process. So we go ahead and box. So does Piastri. He is on the same strategy as us. Interestingly enough, Piastri goes to soft tires. We're going to be on hard tires. Soft tires, we're going to be on mediums. Soft tires for the last 20 laps is certainly a decision, as Norris is going to go by. We're going to be pushing and pushing and pushing, but we're not going to get there in time as we unintentionally crossed the pit exit line, but luckily we only get a warning for that. As well, the battle continues on once again for P5. We're going to dive it up the inside, get the fastest lap as well. We nearly forced Lando off the track, unintentionally there, but we get around him on the outside, back up into P5 on lap 54, but the tail end of lap 54, Norris is going to fight back here, and we're just going to swap back right behind him and follow him through down into turn number 1, especially considering all the things that, well, he has DRS, so a couple laps later, we're going to do the same thing back to him this time. To the left-hand side we go, we get by him, he'll back out, we go through, and back in the P5 we go. This battle for 5th place is on as we continue making our way through down to the final laps. I am panicking, as you can tell, from me fumbling the corner entry, cutting the corner unintentionally, and Lando is going to fly by us here in the middle DRS zone, and we're just going to pass him right back here into turn number 1. This continues on for just some time. We do make contact, but luckily the front wing does not get broken for Lando. And then we come to 10 laps to go. We're going to try and go up the inside again. Lando tries to shut the door. A little bit of contact is made. It's like Formula E here, or Supercars or NASCAR. A little bit more contact is made. We're making contact like it's go-karts or anything without an open wheel, basically. We are stubbornly sitting on the left-hand side. We do pass Lando, but off the track. And while the game is not giving us a penalty, I, headcanon-wise, decided to return the position just so it's fair, and I end up doing the same thing anyway. So I have to let him go by again. This Lando shockingly gets loose. So I'm going to try and play a few mind games here. I'm going to try and let Lando by, while also trying to not let Piastri by. We slot back in line right in the braking zone, just behind Lando. And we'll skip ahead to the DRS zone here. Same lap as well, as we were going to get by Lando with ease. But unfortunately, because of our shenanigans between myself and Lando, we have brought Piastri into this battle for P5 as well. One lone RB fighting 2 McLarens for the 5th spot in the point standings. A lot of points for either of us. We skip ahead 5 or so laps to lap 66, back to turn number 1 where we're trying to defend. We go a little bit wide and we just spin out behind the McLarens. We go back to P7. We go, the painfully unlucky number 7 at this point, as there was no contact made, by the way. That was all me. I already lost traction right there. So that was all a skill issue, as they say. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap. So we come down to the final lap. Relatively uneventful, but a fun battle nonetheless. A P5 was on the cards. But on the bright side for me, we do manage to keep it clean for the most part. And we do manage to come home with a 7th place finish. We outscore Lawson. Hajar. Take care of the car on the way in. I'm keeping that in because I think it's funny. We outscore Hajar as by 5 points this time, and we're tied with Carlos Sainz heading into the next race with 10th in the standings, as we finally get ourselves ahead of McLaren, Williams, and Alpine as a result of my finish. And finally, with no DNFs this week, can we continue that streak heading into the second half?